Factually inaccurate.
Morally correct. This is Babylon Bee Radio. Our top story. First, there were the loaves and the fishes. Then came the Trump presidency. Now, the United States has been blessed to witness another miracle, as President Biden has ended the same COVID-19 pandemic 3 times in a row.
No other president has ended the COVID-19 pandemic even once, let alone 3 times.
Said gay black press secretary Karine Jean-Pierre at a press conference that still bars entry to anyone who has not recently tested negative and also mandates the unvaccinated to wear masks and social distance.
However, we must make this clear. The ongoing pandemic, which President Biden has ended multiple times, is not over.
Critics have voiced concerns about Biden taking the credit for ending the ongoing pandemic and wonder if Trump should also receive credit for Operation Warp Speed, which helped rush Pfizer's perfect 100% effective COVID-19 vaccine into our veins, then hearts. Meanwhile, Biden's team confirms there will be a 4th pandemic-ending miracle in our future, right before the 2024 election. In a touching message to fans, Black Sabbath frontman Ozzy Osbourne has announced he is
retiring, you know. The thing was Sabbath and Flippity Lou and Tony, and it was a bloody time of our lives, mate. I love the fans. Feeling right by the love. Sabbath, bad boy, isn't it?
Said Osbourne in a statement.
Heavy metal done by me knackered Chicky Bodger and rock.
The 74-year-old singer, who has been struggling with health for years, announced the premature end of his European tour, much to the dismay of fans. Many are still speculating as to whether he will ever perform again or whether he will just bagsy up the next bender, for all the birds. Yeah, all right.
I love it, Bobbish. Your mate's all right.
Said Osbourne toward the end of his statement.
Sharon wants you to know all over the house. Take a nap, Bruno. Cheerio.
When asked for comment on Ozzy's retirement, former bandmate and Sabbath founder Tony Iommi said, quote, "What?" At airtime, Ozzy had,
"Cross a linear flimmer, gotta get up and do it that way."
In a stunning development sure to cause significant controversy around the globe, every human being on Earth has been ordered to make financial reparations payments to every other human being in the world due to the fact that at some point in history, every people group owned slaves from another people group. Though having every person pay every other person is, by definition, equal, some groups were outraged.
How is making everything the same for everyone fair?
Asked Reverend Al Sharpton to reporters gathered outside his luxurious apartment building in New York City's Upper East Side.
Acknowledging the fact that every group of people has oppressed another group of people at some time during human history is a slap in the face to those of us who want special treatment. This is unacceptable.
At airtime, various minority organizations in the United States sought to appeal the decision after learning that people of white European descent were not the only people who would be required to pay reparations and were not, in fact, collectively responsible for all oppression and human suffering from the beginning of time. Famous YouTube personality Mr. Beast is being criticized after his latest YouTube video revealed he had spent millions to pay for surgeries to cure blindness in 1,000 patients.
I can save!
Money that could have been used to send more tanks and artillery to Ukraine. Experts estimate that for the cost of 1,000 eye surgeries, Mr. Beast could have purchased one M1 Abrams tank or dozens of Javelin missiles that would have killed countless Russians in battle or been sold on the black market to pay Zelensky's prostitution bill from his recent trip to D.C. Mr. Beast incited further uproar when he announced he would pay for spinal surgery for 1,000 people using money that could have gone toward congressional pay raises. A local TikToker was left angry today after she was unable to achieve her goal of drawing attention from men at the gym, who she could then berate on camera and shame publicly on social media.
These guys are being such jerks. I need them to give me attention that I don't want, so I can rip them a new one and post the video online about how they're totally creeping on me with all this attention I don't want, that they're not giving me like I need them to. Ugh.
Avid fitness enthusiast and aspiring social media influencer Priscilla Balos had hoped to generate a surge of buzz online by joining the growing trend of women dressing in skin-tight gym attire and working out while posing suggestively in front of men who are minding their own business, only to spring their trap as soon as a man even so much as glances at them.
The fact that these guys refuse to be jerks by oogling me just makes them jerks for not oogling me.
Balos complained loudly, attempting to be heard by men working out around her who were clearly wearing earbuds and wanting to just finish their exercise.
Don't you get it? I'm hot. Look at me so I can get mad at you for looking at me.
At airtime, Balos had resorted to stretching and bending over directly in front of the gym's doors, forcing herself into people's view as they entered the facility. Gym staff members were forced to call the police and have Balos forcibly removed from the property. Despite making history as the first trans figure skater, 57-year-old trans woman Mina Maria Antikainen clumsily fell and needed assistance rising from the ice amid swelling orchestral music and spotlights last week. Analysts say Antikainen's strategy was, quote, ill-advised because it involved a biological male picking the one sport where biological women have a natural advantage. Local gender surgeon Cletus McCrosby.
Oh man, classic rookie mistake. Everyone knows that if a biological man wants to dominate in a woman's sport, the last sport you want to choose is one that requires natural, feminine grace and beauty. Not that those exist. I always recommend my clients start with a discus or the shot put. Biological women are really bad at throwing stuff. Totes, obviously.
At this point, it's unclear why Antikainen chose figure skating instead of a more sensible sport like weightlifting, MMA, or maybe that one game where people put flour on their faces and take turns slapping each other as hard as they can. At airtime, Antikainen was nominated for the newly created Nobel Prize in Falling with Style, Grace, and Symbolism of Our Common Human Struggle to Rise Up Against Biological Oppression. Former late-night talk show host Jay Leno had a wild and wacky ride on his most recent pogo-stick excursion, according to sources. While navigating a staircase, Leno took a slip on a banana peel and bounced down 175 steps, ultimately landing on a cactus. Leno explained that after recently suffering extreme burns from a garage fire and injuries from a motorcycle accident, he decided to try out his other hobby, extreme pogo sticking on stairs with cactuses all around.
Yeah, it's crazy, folks. It's crazy. What can I say? I've fallen down a few steps before, but this was something else,
said Leno, picking cactus spines out of his skin.
One minute I was cruising down the staircase, the next I was bouncing down them like a pinball machine. How about that, folks?
Despite the painful landing, Leno took the incident in stride.
Yeah, at least I can say I've landed on my feet. And on a cactus.
According to sources, Leno has said that he's learned his lesson and will be avoiding fires, motorcycles, pogo sticks, and cactuses for good. Leno was later spotted rollerblading on the streets, crashing headfirst into a baker's freshly baked pie, falling into wet cement, and then being crushed by a precariously hanging grand piano. After being sealed in for what felt like ages, Noah's wife has started to wonder whatever happened to all the dinosaurs they let on the ark.
Hey, Noah, honey, have you seen any of the dinosaurs recently?
She approached Noah, who is in the middle of adding dry rub seasoning to a 37-foot-long rack of ribs.
I remember we spent all that time and effort getting the darn things on here. Now, I'm wondering where they could have gone. How do you misplace a massive 5-ton beast, anyway?
Gee, sweetie, I don't know. That is awfully strange. I'm sure they'll turn up eventually,
replied Noah as he spun a large chunk of meat that resembled the left leg of a velociraptor over the fire.
Hey, for dinner I was thinking we could have some triceratops. I mean pork chops for dinner. How's that sound?
According to sources, Noah and his sons missed all the barbecues they used to do before the Great Flood and simply couldn't go another day without firing up the grill for a T-Rex T-bone or a Stegosaurus steak. Unfortunately, one thing led to another before they realized they'd just eaten their way through the entire dino kingdom. At airtime, Noah was spotted unloading a smoker with tender, juicy pterodactyl brisket that had been smoking for 40 days and 40 nights. B-Radio features officially curated content from the Babylon Bee. Scripted, voiced, and produced by Austin Robertson. Additional voices in this episode from Bettina, Jared, Jason, Kristen, and Travis. Don't miss an episode. Subscribe to B-Radio wherever you get your podcasts.